Hi, this is my round 4 practice speech. George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor, Alton Sterling, Eric Gardner, Michael Brown. These are the names of unarmed African Americans who died due to police brutality. The Black Lives Matter movement was created in response to a disproportionate amount of African Americans falling victim to police brutality and systematic oppression and discrimination. Recently, the Black Lives Matter protests have gained a lot of traction after the murder of George Floyd. There have been an increased number of protests and social media awareness has risen. With all this new popularity, there has been just as much backlash. The Black Lives Matter movement has birthed counter movements such as All Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter. The All Lives Matter movement is a movement that attempts to emphasize the fact that all lives matter and no one particular race is above the other, highlighting the inessential nature of BLM. While the Blue Lives Matter movement is a movement created by a group of law enforcement that wanted to hold those who killed law enforcement accountable to the highest degree, and has evolved into a philosophy that prioritizes the police officer's life and rights over anything else. According to a 2020 CBS News article, when Vice President Mike Pence was asked about the Black Lives Matter movement after the death of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, he responded with, "I really believe all lives matter." In a YouTube video from September in 2020 at a Trump rally, "All Lives Matter" was being enthusiastically chanted among the crowd. Two of the top leaders in this country are fueling a movement born out of hate and ignorance and ignore the systematic oppression that African Americans constantly face. With these divisive leaders in power, the All Lives Matter movement hashtags on social media have increased as well. According to a 2020 Pew Research article on hashtags and social movements, there has been a 31% increase in the All Lives Matter hashtag on social media since July 2020. An analysis done on the All Lives Matter hashtag by Participedia.com in 2020 says that ALM hashtags are generally centered on a colorblind politic, accusing hashtag Black Lives Matter protesters of being exclusive and privileging Black lives over any other lives. When people claim all lives matter or blue lives matter in response to Black Lives Matter, they miss the overall impact, and according to a 2020 CNN News article, it delegitimizes the movement. And instead of answering the call to care about the lives of a race of people who have been systematically disenfranchised for centuries, they respond with, "All lives matter." When a person says all lives matter in response to Black Lives Matter, it is implying that only Black lives matter, or Black lives matter more, and creates a negative connotation of BLM to the general public. When there is a negative association with the movement, it loses credibility and the true intentions can just be overshadowed. According to a 2020 BlackLivesMatter.com article, the delegitimization of BLM can allow for African Americans to be stuck in a cyclic pattern of discrimination and oppression. That is not only unjust, but goes against the core values of this country. It's very obvious that the Black Lives Matter movement has been met with negative backlash. And instead of automatically trying to dismiss an extremely essential movement and contribute to systematic oppression, what can you do to support equal rights for everyone? There's a simple solution. Educate yourself. A 2020 Talkspace article explains that educating yourself about race, anti-Black racism, and white supremacy is also the key to the process of unlearning. Unlearning is crucial because racism is embedded into our society. In order to take systematic change, we have to unlearn many things that are inherent in today's world. You can educate yourself by reading books such as Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson, or The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. Or watch documentaries on Netflix such as The 13th, When They See Us, I Am Not Your Negro, or Who Killed Malcolm X. You can also read news articles that will keep you up to date. You may be thinking, what if I don't have enough time to educate myself? Or what if I don't know where to start? It may be hard to find a time to read a book or watch a show or movie, but it's extremely necessary that you educate yourself. This change needs to happen, and taking time out of your life to help enact change is very crucial. You have to be intrinsically motivated and go out of your way to remain educated. Being ignorant is no longer an acceptable excuse in a world where you have access to infinite information in your pocket. You could also be thinking, I don't know where to start. Where do I begin? Any of the resources I have listed are a great starting point, and you truly can start anywhere. As long as you're moving toward educating yourself, there's no wrong place to start. After you do your part, we can imagine a better world. If you do your part, you can help create change in this world. Imagine no more division in this nation. Imagine protests becoming less frequent. Imagine a world where systematic racism is finally removed from this country. Happiness and peace could be way more attainable, and people of color and white people could be held on the same level. I beg all of you to do your part in supporting the Black Lives Movement. Go read a book about the injustices in the criminal justice system. Call out a racist statement made by a relative during the holidays. Repost a Black Lives Matter post on your Instagram story. Instead of being upset at the reaction of the movement, ask yourself why they feel the need to protest and chant BLM in the first place. Look at the systematic racism and be a catalyst for change. Save a life or stand by and idly watch. In that case, you will be a part of the problem. Be a part of the solution. Black Lives Matter is not a controversial statement. It's a statement that calls for equality. Be a proponent of Black Lives Matter, because they do. Today, tomorrow, and every day. Thank you so much.